Today we're going to test all of the major and minor augments that you can unlock for StaminUp in Black Ops 6 Zombies. First, let's talk about all of the major augments. The first I want to talk about is Dasher, which increases your tactical sprint duration. I found that sometimes when you tactical sprint and you move too sharply, it automatically stops, but the max amount of time I got out of regular tac sprint without this augment on was 10 seconds. But when I went ahead and put it on, it increased it by 5 seconds, which is a 50% increase. That's a pretty significant increase. 15 seconds of tac sprint in zombies is insane. That being said, I would definitely recommend this over the other two because the other two are free faller, which prevents you from taking any sort of fall damage. But to be honest, I feel like in both Terminus and Liberty Falls, there aren't very many places where you can take fall damage. Liberty Falls, I can only think of the roof of the bank. And on Terminus, I literally had to search for places to take fall damage in. That's how little I feel like this augment actually has use. And then with Stalker, you can walk faster while aiming. So I just did a little test on how long it would take me while aiming down sights from this side of the spawn room and Terminus to the other. And without this augment, it took me about 13 seconds, and when I put it on, it took about 10 seconds. It's not exactly professional, but that adds up to 23% increase. One important thing to know is that it doesn't actually increase the speed of which you look around or your right joystick. That's the best way I can explain it. It only increases the speed at which you move with your left joystick, so directionally. Now let's talk about the minor upgrades, and there is one that I actually think is insanely useful. First, let's start off with hard target, which I actually think is the second most useful one. With this one, while tactical sprinting, projectile damage is reduced. I'm assuming projectile damage means what the parasites and the manglers shoot at you, because the regular zombies don't really have anything else to shoot at you with. And I'll just give you a brief summary of the numbers so I don't bore you. Without this augment, I took 30 parasite damage, and with it, I only took 23. That's about a 23% decrease of damage. And then with the manglers, I took 62 damage without it, and then with it, I only took 47. That one's about a 24% decrease in damage. So they're about the same. I think the actual number are decimals in between that, but it's a 23 to 24% decrease in damage from projectile damage. It's also important to note that this only works while you're tac sprinting. So if you're just walking around or regular sprinting, this augment isn't working in your favor. It's literally doing nothing. I tried testing this with the Abomination on Liberty Falls, but honestly, I don't feel like it makes a difference, and you just take damage too fast anyways. And same thing goes with armor. The numbers were 23 and 24% decreases. This one's pretty useful, but the next one isn't. Quarterback, apparently you can use equipment while sprinting, and honestly, I couldn't find one difference. Honestly, at first I thought this meant you could hold equipment in your hand and move faster, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And honestly, I still feel like you have to pause when you're throwing stuff, especially when you use stuff like monkey bombs. The difference may be there, but I honestly think it's too subtle to be worth using. And then finally, we have Hot Foot, where you gain a speed boost after your equipment kills an enemy. Now this one's pretty crazy. I tested the speed boost that you get, and it's about 5 seconds, and you go really fast. It feels much faster than tac sprint, and at first I thought you'd be able to stack it. Like, for example, if you got one Semtex kill and then before the 5 seconds were over you got another, it'd be up to 10 seconds, but that's not actually the case. When I tested this, it seemed like when you get one kill and then you get another, the timer resets back to 0, and then when you get to 5 seconds, your speed boost is over. But this is still surprisingly useful, especially when you want to get out into an area very fast. For example, I actually used this, I'm pretty sure, right after I went down, and I threw one of my Semtexes to get out of that area as fast as possible and then get my perks back. I honestly think there would be a lot of scenarios in zombies where this could be very useful, especially because speed is such an important aspect of your movement and of stamina. But that's all of the augments for StaminUp. Let me know what other perk, field upgrade, or ammo mod you would like me to cover next. Honestly, these take a long time to unlock, so make sure you subscribe and you won't miss all of the next ones that I test.